your small business, to grow yourself, to be that employer you have been looking for. And the environment has been created for you. And this is not happening just at the national. The counties are doing exactly this. The devolution of power and resources. So the counties are offering a lot of resources, a lot of opportunities for young people, but only for those who leave the crowd and go looking for it. Are we together? So it is us who have gotten this opportunity to be in school, to be a graduate, to get opportunity for those who have not. And that is why even the new funding model is coming in place. Why? Because it's a very small percentage which have been able to get an opportunity to be in school, to learn, and get where we are. And those others who have not, the hustlers now, the real hustlers, are looking up to us, those who have gotten the opportunity to get them opportunities also. So we need to work closely with our county government, participate in governance issues, public participation. What are we doing? Trainings on governance all around.
Not really. You think it's a technical challenge? Yeah. You can use another mic.
So I know I've said a lot, but let me just conclude by saying the other thing we need to look, which is very personal, is basically on our mental health. And I think it's a conversation which has not been focused and is affecting a lot of our young people. So we honestly need to be nice to ourselves. Drugs and substance abuse, of what benefit is it? Parents are struggling so hard for you to be where you are, because I think this is a forum for comrades, university students. Drug abuse is rampant in our institutions. This is very personal, my friend, because nobody is going to give you whatever you smoke or whatever you inject yourself or what you do to them. But what is the future? What do you want out of it? So we need to be very clear, and this is a conversation around the universal health. Mental health is at the center of it, and for the sake of you, your family, your parents, and your family to come, take care of your mental health. Let's talk, let's find a friend, find somebody who can guide you, can talk to you, so that you don't find yourself in a situation you cannot reverse. Because it is happening in a big way, but it starts with the small things we take for granted. Peer pressure. Your friend is smoking weed, and you say, I want to try. Nasikia uko high, kesho unaongeza ya pili. So let us take care of ourselves. Let us have groupings where we talk. Because life is never easy. Even for the people you think they are doing very well, they are struggling. And then structures, just to digress, during the Gen Z protest, we said we are formless, we are leaderless. That is not the way to go, and especially for the people I meet, the young people, we must be structured. If we were structured maybe during that time, today we'll be talking of a different conversation. Because we know how to engage. I'm happy, Gitonga, I saw you in KICC when the president was meeting the comrades also. We need to be structured so that we have a way of communicating. So thank you very much. The counties are there for you, 47 of them. Here we have 3, Makueni, Kitui, and Machakos. Let us knock those doors. What do you think you can do? As a department, you have also resource mobilized. We are implementing a program of World Bank, $150 million to capacity build, to improve on service delivery and accountability. So don't participate because you are paid 500 shillings to be in a public participation forum. participate because you want to add value. You have some input because the next conversation around our development, around leadership, it will be shaped by the young people of this country. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Panelists, we have got about 40 minutes and then we go to taking questions. I'd love you to use the next minutes prudently. Sharon, in Kenya Kwanza and at UDA, we know and we appreciate the fact that we might not always prepare the future for young people, but we can prepare our young people for the future. As a young woman in leadership, what would you really love government and people in authority to do for you so that you are able to thrive and come to bear fruits?
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. First of all, I'll appreciate the fact that the government is giving the young women a chance to be able to express themselves and speak out, and also inclusivity, like the fact that we have Terry Mbaika, who is the PS for devolution, and the chair for UDA, who is Cecily Mbarire, governor of Meru, shows that the government at least cares. Yes, we face some challenges getting there, like bullying, mostly the online bullying. I'd like the government to do something about it. I really don't know what, but I feel like there is something they can always do. There is something they can always do. Yeah, because that is one of the challenges that the women in leadership face.
Thank you very much. You are very brief. You are just worried about bullying?
Yes, but I'd like to encourage the young women here and also the ones who are viewing in the televisions to take up these spaces and to express themselves. Yes, there are challenges, but it's worth it. It's worth it in the end. And I'd like to encourage each and every one of us who is here to not shy away from expressing ourselves, because this government is a listening government, and it's only through dialogue that our needs will be heard and it will take action.
Thank you very much, Sharon. And the government is a listening government, and I believe that we should also reciprocate by listening. There exist a lot of opportunities. We've just been told of $150 million US. Some of it in Sheng we call it Jabba, but there's something called Youth Fund. No, it actually exists, but due to the fact that as youth sometimes we probably throw the baby with the bathwater, we do not get the opportunity to benefit from this. And so the Youth Fund, there is the Youth Fund. We would like to explain to us as Comrades how we can access the Youth Fund and how the terms and conditions thereof of the Youth Fund, and actually tell us if it's something that exists so that the Comrades may be happy.
Comrade power. So the Kenya Kwanza government is very deliberate on financial inclusion and access to credit facilities for young people, to support young people in commercializing their ideas and transforming themselves from job seekers to job creators. As you can see, there is a very big challenge of unemployment in the country, and we are looking at young people being the innovators, the idea creators, the challengers of the status quo as the solution to this challenge of unemployment in the country. So Youth Fund is a state agency under the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Sports and Creative Economy that has the sole mandate of supporting youth enterprises. We support youth enterprise development, with affordable credit facilities, with training, market linkages, and mentorship support. So in terms of affordable credit facilities, we have individual and group loans for young people. In terms of group loans, all we need is a registered group and a bank account. And I want to tell you for a fact before I proceed, Youth Fund, few stories Ajaba. Gitonga has asked me to clarify on that. Youth Fund exists. Here in Machakos, we are just here next to Semara Hotel. I'm happy that the venue favors our office. Our office is just next to Semara Hotel. When you leave outside on the right-hand side, you will see Youth Fund offices. And I'm accompanied here by the credit officer of Youth Fund, Machakos County. He's called Maurice Muia. I've brought him here specifically because I want us to have an impactful conversation. After this, you can pick up further communication with him on issues that I will not have addressed. So with group loans, all you need is to just have that group and a bank account. Come with your business proposal, then we will fund you. And once you get the money, we give up to 100,000 for the first loan. Once you get the money, I know the question is, how can I manage my business while I'm still in the university? You don't have to be the ones running that business. Muia was sharing with me there are some youths who formed a group and they have started a business, a tuk-tuk business. Youth Fund has funded them tuk-tuks that are running here in Machakos. So you don't have to be the ones running that business. We give you that money, then you are able to get someone you hire, you can supervise during your free time, but you continue with your studies. You get something to sustain you while you are studying, while you are running a business, and also creating job opportunities for other young people. So you don't need collateral with group loans. Then we have individual loans. Individual loans, you can take up to 2 million the first time. And with this, you need security. You can actually get a security from another person if you don't have. You can get security. You can use your parents' collateral. So you can take up to 2 million. And the beauty with our loans, both group and individual loans, is that the interest is very low. For group loans, they don't attract any interest, it is zero. I'm sure most of you have interacted with most fintech companies that are issuing loans, even the banks. And you know that they are very exorbitant interest rates. But with the Youth Fund, the group loans have zero interest. The individual loans attract 8% interest, which is still the lowest in the market. And also, our group loans graduate up to 3 times. Once you have taken the first time and you have repaid, that loan can graduate up to 3 times. You take 100,000, next time you can take 300,000. The third time you can take 900,000. So it keeps graduating depending with your credit history. In addition to affordable credit facilities, we also offer business development. We know most of you might have ideas, but you don't know how to actualize that idea, how to put it down into a business plan. So we help you. We have training for those who want to take up our loans. Even if you just have an idea, don't shy away from coming to our office. We will help you in putting that idea into a business plan, then we can fund it. So we do business development support. And in terms of business development support, we also offer market linkages. For those who have taken our loans, once your product is ready for the market, we can also help you to get the market for those products. Then we also have LPO financing. We realize that there is a law for AGPO which requires 30% of tenders to be reserved for young people, women and people with disability. But it has always been a challenge for these special interest groups to participate actively and meaningfully in the tendering processes. So for us at Youth Fund, we support young people who want to take part in government tenders by financing up to 70% of the LPO. And if you are wondering how you can get the government tenders, first you need to have a registered business. You can register this business on your own. You don't have to get a lawyer to help you register. You can go to eCitizen and then you register your business either as a business name or as a company. And once you have a certificate, you visit the next Huduma Center, you get your AGPO certificate. Once you have the AGPO certificate and the registration certificate for your business, you can approach the area MP, MCA, or the county department. And as I told you, all these offices have a threshold to meet of 30% in tendering. And they don't meet because there are no youths who go there to get these opportunities. So once you have your documentation, go to the office. I'm sure because the SC is here and he is very close to Honorable Caleb Mule, I know you can help the comrades here who would like to supply some of the NCGDF to the NCGDF project, and we can support them with the LPO financing. Then we also have asset financing for those who want to get an asset. You want to purchase an asset, like tuk-tuks, the example that I gave, or you want to set up containers to let to other people. If you want to purchase any asset, we also do asset financing up to 70%. Then in terms of labor export, I know that it is an issue now. It is an issue that is it's very contemporary. Currently, there are young people who are applying. They are being recruited to go to Qatar. As the Youth Fund, we support. We understand that the government's main priority is to create jobs locally. But if the jobs are also available externally and young people are interested to go there, Youth Fund supports up to 300,000 Kenyan shillings to the young person so that they can work on all the documentation that they need to go and work abroad. We also do pre-departure training for the young people who want to go and work abroad and they have gotten an opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's clap for her. I'd love to move very fast to James Minor, Mr. James Minor, Director National Housing. And I'd love us to be surgical. I'd love you to tell these comrades what opportunities exist in the affordable housing program. Just specifically, I know we do not know whether it is Seneca or who said that it's the older who advise the young. Allow me to actually just ask specifically the opportunities that exist for comrades in the housing program.
Comrades Power. Thank you. I'm Director Housing in the State Department for Housing, not National Housing. So I would like to correct that. However, let me say that the affordable housing program is not something that has been born out of the blues. It's a program that has come through many years, and of course, within development of our country. Okay. First and foremost, let me start by saying the future is urban. There are no two ways. Data available with us locally, internationally, indicates that not only Kenya but all the world, we are going to be living in urban areas. Of course, Kenya, we are behind compared to the rest of the world, but we have one of the most urbanizing trends worldwide. And it is expected by 2050, 50% of our population will now be living in urban areas. However, the most critical thing is that when our people come to urban areas and those who are born, they don't live in adequate housing. They live probably in formal settlements or what we normally call slums. To the extent that almost over 50% of our population in urban areas are living in slums. And this is what was seen by Kenyans when they went to vote for the new constitution in 2010. And they created Article 43 that makes housing a right and obligates government to provide adequate housing and ensure every Kenyan, every citizen has access to adequate housing. And of course, to localize this agenda, in 2024 March, Parliament and President assented to the Affordable Housing Act. And the Affordable Housing Act now is the act that gives us the mandate to provide housing for Kenyans. And this program of affordable housing is an ambitious, transformative as well as very revolutionary, because it not only aims to provide housing, but the challenge of that housing is an opportunity to create other opportunistic benefits that goes together with housing. And one of the major one is job creation. Let me say, the shortage of housing to date, over the cumulative years that government has not been working on housing from 1992. From 1992, there was introduction of something was called structural adjustment policy. And they said, World Bank, IMF, told us, government has no business in investing in housing. What did we lose? We lost jobs, we lost manufacturing, and we lost cumulative development of adequate housing and reasonable housing as contained in our constitution. And we have 2 million houses, almost 1.8 to be exact, that has been cumulative. The private sector was left to develop housing. The private sector has only been developing 50,000 houses. And out of 50,000 houses, only 1,000 units are affordable. I pause there. The demand is 250,000 every year. So what is the shortfall? Very simple mathematics, 200,000. And this is where the opportunity lies. And this is also where the challenge lies. The challenge lies in the provision of affordable housing, 200 units every year. And the opportunity lies, if you develop 200,000 housing every year, what are the opportunities that are you likely to get? What are the number of jobs that are you likely to create? And it's very simple arithmetic. Direct jobs, 3 to 5. Indirect jobs, 10 to 15. Arithmetically tells you this is what can be done. It means 200,000 multiplied by 10, you can create 2 million jobs if you achieve that. And this is what the government intends, and this is what the government is currently doing through the affordable housing program. And it has created a fund through a levy of 1.5% through income and through salaries to the individuals, employees, individual citizens, as well as 1.5 to the employers. And that creates a capital fund that can be available now to fund housing. And it is kept very well through the Affordable Housing Board. And that money, once it is collected, goes directly to the fund, and it is only set aside to be used for affordable housing. And what is this affordable housing all about? The affordable housing is for the provision of affordable housing, institutional housing, and association, social and physical infrastructure. Let me first of all go to the institutional housing. The institutional housing covers Section 2 of this Act, defines what institutional housings are. Institutional housing includes 1, student accommodation; 2, housing for civil servants, housing for police, and housing for prisons, and housing for our defense. If you look at that category I've mentioned, the students' population currently, which is almost 1 million, the university student is 462,000 enrollment by last year's data. TVET, TTI, TVCs is allowed 408,000, again on the same data. And out of this data, and you tell me if I'm wrong, only a small percentage is accommodated within the university premises. One example we have is the University of Nairobi. It has a student population of 50,000. And out of 50,000, only 10,000 are accommodated within the university. And what is the resultant factor? I know you are the wearer of the shoe, and you know where it pinches most. They are either accommodated at cheap housing that are not conducive for learning, that are insecure, or probably very expensive. When we went to do public participation for Affordable Housing Act, I was lucky I was heading the team that was in Machakos here, in Machakos Social Hall. One thing the parents told us: we will accept this affordable housing program if you accommodate construction and development of student hostels, because our students, our children, we are spending too much money to pay fees, but also to accommodate them in school. And we are always not secure where they are living. And that's what we did, and we told Parliament, let's accommodate institutional housing as well as student accommodation. And what have we achieved so far? So far we have put in our budget 180 TVCs across the countries, 182 to be precise. And we have put 46 universities in our budget. We have started this development. We have started in TUK, where we are doing 2,000 hostels. We have started in Ebu, and we'll be here in KMTC and the Machakos University. In terms of housing, currently we have been able to achieve 124,000 houses under construction. And within these 120,000 houses under construction. We have created jobs that were not there, more than 160,000 jobs which have been created. We hope once this program is clear of taken, we'll be able to create 1 million jobs. But to you as students, there is some direct benefits, and they are in two forms. Number one is internship. For us, you know, every time you apply for a job after leaving school, and it's not you who have faced it, it is even us when we left school. The first job you find, 10 years experience, 5 years experience, and the biggest question that everyone has been asking, and even as we ask the same question. Now me, I'm just fresh from school. Where am I expected to get a job, to get experience? I will need a job to get that experience. And this is what we are offering. Within the affordable housing program, in all our construction sites, we are taking student internship and attachments.
Mr. Director, thank you. I believe that they are quite, the comrades are just imbibing the wisdom that you have been spilling. And still on the same point, on the opportunities of comrades, probably I would want to digress it a bit to Madam Magdalene Kithi. And I visited Samburu some time back, and I saw a beautiful girl somewhere. And you know, in Samburu they pay dowry using livestock. So sorry for deviating, but what opportunities exist for comrades in the livestock help in terms of the opportunities of internship that will be provided in the national construction, in the continuing of the building of the affordable houses. But for livestock, what opportunities exist for us comrades, and how can we benefit from the livestock industry? Is it just for the old schools, or is it something that the comrades, even those of us who are doing financial engineering and not veterinary medicine, can benefit?
Thank you very much. Good morning, comrades. I'm happy to be here to have this opportunity to meet the representatives of comrades from Lower Eastern. My previous job was dealing with students, so I am very passionate about students, and I'm happy that you have this forum to learn. Now, I'm from the 6th department. I'm in the 6th department.
Please put off the rest of the mics so that they
Yes, the State Department for Livestock Development, you know, is in the Ministry of Agriculture. And as you all very well know, that agriculture is the mainstay of our economy. And it is not only the mainstay of our economy, but without it, we cannot be as shiny as you are. I'm sure you have, when we have our food on the table, it is not balanced. We don't feel happy when there is the young people, as the young people, maybe you are asking me, what can we do in the livestock sector? You don't have shambas. Maybe it's your parents that have tracts of land where you can keep animals. But there is a lot that the young people, you can do. You can invest in livestock production. You can get income. You can contribute in the GDP of our country. So there are enterprises in the livestock sector that do not require large tracts of land and that you can endeavor in. And as I said, agriculture together with the livestock contributes to a little over 12% of their economy. And it is one of the government flagships to achieve Vision 2030 through the better economic agenda. I'm sure you all know, we are aware of the bottom-up economic agenda. So in the livestock sector, we have the key projects that the government is promoting or is working hard at achieving. We have the dairy sector, we have the beef sector, and then we have the leather development, okay? Leather from hides and skins that we get from animals, okay? So there is so much that you can do. On top of that, there is a lot of demand locally and internationally for livestock products, okay? The country is exporting meat to the Arab countries and other countries. So even in the local, or rather in the country, there is a lot of demand. For example, there is demand for chicken, yeah, especially indigenous chicken. The government has come in to promote the germplasm, the genetics, improved genetics of most of the livestock enterprises. And so when you venture into, or you want to venture into enterprises that are related to livestock, you can always get improved germplasm so that you can have a profitable venture. So as I said, for the young guys, you don't say that you don't have a shamba. You can rear your chicken. You can rear your improved chicken. There are various breeds of chicken that you can rear for meat. Some are reared for eggs. And with a high demand, you don't require a lot of land. Just a small piece, and then you get the feed. So you can endeavor in such, and you get income. There is pig production. Then we talked about the dairy. You don't require a large tract of land to raise a dairy animal, okay? And then we also have dairy goats. We have beef goats that you can do. And you, of course, we are not telling you only for yourself. We are giving you this information so that you also pass it to the community. So there is no reason for saying that, of course, the jobs, the white-collar jobs are few. But the livestock sector, and especially the Ministry of Agriculture, it is here to appeal to you that let's not get fixated about the white-collar jobs. Let's get our hands dirty a little bit, and then the money will come flowing in our bank. So as I said, we have the poultry sector, the chicken, we have the pig industry, we have the small stock, that is the goats and the sheep, then we have the dairy. The beef is usually reared in expansive lands, but you can, yes, you can still endeavor in it. So what is the government doing to promote all this? So as the livestock department, we are in charge of regulation, we are in charge of the policy making, so that when you go to rear your animals, when you source the feed, you get quality feed. Yeah? When you want to sell your product, the government is involved in making a market, there is infrastructure, making of the market infrastructure so that farmers can easily sell their products, okay? So for example, we have KMC, Kenya Meat Commission, across here. You can, farmers can sell their animals there, and then we get money. So this, I know Lower Eastern, Machakos, Kitui County is one of the ASAL areas where we have challenge of livestock, climate, rainfall and all that, but we have ventures that you can venture in livestock production, and the government is also promoting the sustainable use of rangelands, which are usually suitable for livestock production. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At least Madam Magdalene has told us that livestock for Comrades is not just for dowry. It has got much more than that. So Comrades power. I need a proper response. Comrades power. We are in a UDA event. One of those things I need to remind you is that in UDA, tukisema UDA unasema kazi ni kazi. Because I'd like us to talk to the guy from the National Employment Authority. And that is the anchor of why UDA exists. So nikisema UDA unasema kazi ni kazi. Na nikisema kazi ni kazi unasema pesa mfukoni. Like I said, we are UDA unapologetically. Hello? UDA. Kazi ni kazi. UDA. Kazi ni kazi. Sasa nataka pia tukisema Comrades unasema power ya nguvu, ama unasema UDA ya nguvu. Mimi nasema ile iko na udhaifu sana. Niko Machakos kweli. Unajua kuna kitu inaitwa wavinya, vinya, as in pahali pa nguvu. Si ndio? Hello? Comrades power. Tuko salama? Sawa sawa. So, Mr. Kerkich. I think I got that right. From the National Employment Authority. Baadaye ukimaliza utatuambia Kerkich means what. Semara management, please. Sort us on sound. Semara management, kindly sort us on sound. We are having a little bit of problems with audio. So, Mr. Kerkich, I'm saying once you are done, first of all, telling us what the National Employment Authority does and how Comrades can benefit. I'd really love you guys to just focus what you do and how Comrades can get help and services from you. And then you can tell us what Kerkich means. Because Ker is Luo, Kich looks like it's Kale. So, tutaongea hiyo baadaye, but let's start from what can Comrades get from there.
Hello, 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 hello. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check sound. Check 1 2. 1 2. Check. Yeah, 1 2.
Comrades power. Comrades power. Okay, I hope you can hear me. Okay, thank you very much. I want to start by really thanking the ST for inviting
Check
us,
1 2. Check.
the National Employment Authority, to
1
be part
2.
of this program. The National Employment Authority is an entity under the Ministry of Labor. And one of our key mandates is to register job seekers and facilitate placement, which is appointment in jobs. The other mandate is to register and regulate private employment agencies. We also register local employers. And we also take stock of available job opportunities locally, and also opportunities that are available outside the country, which particularly are sourced by the registered recruitment agencies. So basically that is the main functions we do as an authority, and of course coming up with policies on matters employment. Indeed, unemployment rate in Kenya is high, and thank God the current government is really focusing on reducing the unemployment rate. And so, from the National Employment Authority point of view, we've tried to facilitate job seekers, including you comrades. The moment you graduate, we expect you to have actually even registered as a job seeker, so that you can be facilitated to get employment. We register job seekers so that as a government, when His Excellency the President goes out to source for jobs, he is able to tell any country or any government that we have got these specialities, this number of Kenyans with these specific specializations. And by doing that, we will be able to get as many jobs as possible. Recently, you remember the President went to Germany and he was able to secure some jobs, and through bilateral labor agreements. In fact, one of our key role is to come up with bilateral labor agreements, and which is normally signed by the CS Ministry of Labor. So it's our work as the National Employment Authority to initiate the bilateral labor agreements, then it's signed by the CS Ministry of Labor. We've got a job portal which is www.nearims.go.ke, and probably maybe some of you are not aware of that, but now at least through this forum you will go out knowing that there is a job portal called www.nearims.go.ke. I was doing an analysis of the jobs that are available I think 3 days ago, and we've got over 500,000 job opportunities from various countries, ranging from Australia, Kuwait, Denmark, Italy, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, many other countries. And we've got over 500,000 job opportunities, which are there for you to apply. Just like the peers say that it's you to take a step to do what? To apply, to register and apply for those job opportunities. If you do not do that, my friend, comrade, you will not get the job. The job will not come and look for you. You have to initiate by registering and applying. I hope I am communicating. You have to take a step by registering and applying. These are job opportunities that are normally sourced for by the various recruitment agencies. And someone I know will be asking, where are these recruitment agencies? Which ones are legit? Which ones are not? All those agencies are listed in the portal, and you can easily know which one is legit and which one is not legit. If you go to the portal www.naims.go.ke, you'll be able to search. Just type the name of the agency and you'll be able to know whether that agency is licensed or not, whether the license is valid or not. You'll be able to get the information. So it's upon you to register.
Thank you very much. It's 11:55 or slightly over that.
Allow me to just say one thing. Apart from being employed, comrades, you can also be owners of agencies, which you can now be have your own self-employed. That is, we are also giving you that opportunity to register to register an agency so that you can be an employer of your own and you make even more money. A number of agencies that are registered now were actually workers who went outside the country, maybe even as house helps, but they came back with money and they have registered agencies and they are now making good money. So it's an opportunity for you also to do that. Still allow me one more minute.
I'll allow you another round during the question session. I wanted Professor Machuki to speak to the universal health care, but as he picks the microphone, I'd love to remind you that we are also having this conversation online. Conversations nowadays go beyond halls. So follow this conversation, contribute to it online. Hashtag UDA Machakos chapter. UDA Machakos chapter. Hashtag UDA Machakos chapter. The keywords are UDA town hall. We are here. All of you have got smartphones. Piga selfie. Sema uko hapa. Usijifiche mpaka watu wakuonee kwa TV. Pia sema uko hapa, kuna kitu unachangia na hizo vitu zingine zote. Let's have this conversation running online. Sawa, you can tweet, you can retweet. Have this conversation going. Comrades power. So, Professor Machuki, it's 11:57. I'd love comrades to ask questions at exactly midday. Chief, but I can give you an extra 3 minutes. So that then by exactly 12 or 5 you are done. On Chief, it's so much around. Please help us.
Thank you, moderator. It is very encouraging to engage audience that have one key resource that gives them comparative and competitive advantage, and that is intellectual capital. In this hall, we bring these conversations because this is where intellectual output is very significant and required. On she, Sha, and the whole conversation around it, I'll want first to pick the strategic intent of His Excellency the President on universal health coverage. In the better plan, you will find this strategic intent running through. What is the intent? One is to institutionalize politics, coming out of individual, tribal-based politics to issue-based politics. Number two, democratization of the economy. Many a times, the economy has been in the hands of the capital owners at the very top of the economic pyramid. Bringing this conversation to the youth who have to deploy their innovative intellectual output into converting ideas into business opportunities at the very bottom of the pyramid, then moving towards making everybody part of the conversation in matters to do with economy. Number 3, entrenching constitutionalism. And that is why public participation and all other aspects to implement the constitution are very key. So these principles anchor the main priorities in the better plan, where UHC comes in. Cost of living has been very high. The focus is to bring it down. Unemployment issues have been raised here, and we want to talk about ending unemployment. Inclusive growth and enhancing the revenue base. The pillars that can have quick turnaround in those priorities is agriculture, and it has been highlighted how agricultural transformation, both crop production and livestock, can lead into increasing exports, reducing food imports, and ensuring that there is food security. Universal health coverage is at the core of the 5 pillars. Of course, affordable housing is among the others, micro small enterprise development, and digital superhighway and the creative economy. Those form the key pillars of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda that is spearheaded by this administration. But you will also realize that in that plan, you have enabler sectors, manufacturing, ICT, good governance, you have climate change and education, as well as one of the things that have been very much talked about, women agenda. Now, let me very quickly start on this core pillar, universal health coverage, by asking a question. How many of us have registered into SHA? By show of hand. Very good. Not a significant number. But when you get into SHA, that is the point of entry that you provide information for purposes of you starting to consume the services of the Social Health Authority, but most importantly on Social Health Insurance Fund. I will come to that, but let me give you a very synoptic account of how health reforms in Kenya have led us into universal health coverage. In 1965, we had the establishment of the National Hospital Insurance Fund that was focusing on access that was so limited to coverage, insurance coverage, to those in white-collar jobs in the public sector. In 1996, reforms were then introduced to change, instead of National Hospital Insurance Fund to National Health Insurance Fund. But still at that level, we then brought on board individuals who would contribute into the fund, and including those in the informal sector. In the year 2004, we have what is called Social Health Insurance Fund. So, what you note in those 3 episodic changes is that there is the insurance fund at the end. What is changing is from national hospital, then there is national health, now we have social. Now, take a note, at that social health insurance, that is where we have universalization of access to quality health care. How is it possible? It was established that the main concern in access of quality healthcare is one, the commodities, that is the drugs and other health equipment like the x-rays and so forth. Number two is about the facilities themselves. Some of these facilities are in the management of the county governments, and the Constitution 2010 devolved healthcare system in Kenya. Number three is about governance. The resources that used to be contributed by payroll workers and individual contributors, the governance of that fund through NHIF was found to be problematic. Now, in advancing the issue of universal health care, government has, through various legislation, ensured that everybody accesses quality health care by way of enhancing financing, by way of ensuring that the issue to deal with the governance is dealt with, and by way of ensuring that the facilities where this health care is accessible, is accessed, are of high quality. Now, Madam Moderator, because of the sensitivity of this matter, allow me to then take them through a simple synoptic journey for them to understand why some of these issues are raised and how they can be addressed.
Prof.
Number one.
Just a moment.
Yes.
We are way past the time we had actually afforded you, and I know these other side is actually itching with questions. So
thank you. Let me focus on SHA.
You do it in just 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Social Health Authority is an institution that has been established to replace the National Hospital Insurance Fund, and in this authority you now have 3 funds that Kenyans are able to access health care. The first fund, where Kenyans are finding themselves mixed up, is the Social Health Insurance Fund that has been made available by enacting an act of parliament called the Social Health Insurance Act. In this particular fund, Kenyans are supposed to contribute. How? Those who have been contributing to National Health Insurance Fund continue to contribute, but at a rate that has been now formalized at 2.75% of the gross income. Those in the informal sector, there is what is called mean testing instrument that gives the level of income on the basis of which 2.7% can be calculated. At the point of registration into the Social Health Authority, the information you give gives you the means testing rank that then tells you how much you are supposed to contribute into SHA, into SHIV. So, if you have not registered and given the information, then you cannot be brought on board so that you can continue accessing the services. Number 2, the Social Health Authority is responsible for onboarding medical facilities, health facilities, both public, private, and mission. There are 2 processes. There is empanelment by the regulator, and then there is contractual engagement. The Social Health Authority is supposed to contract the public as well as private and mission hospitals. So, if you go to a facility that has not rendered itself for contractual engagement with SHA, then the facilities or the services may not be available. But all public facilities are on board to provide those services. So, the challenge in accessing the services is first, Kenyans have to register, provide information that will then determine their level of contribution into SHIV so that they are able to access the health, the services in the various facilities. You remember that the community health promoters, 100,000 of them have already been launched, and they provide care at household level, and they refer any patient to level 1, level 2, level 3, and at that point, government capitates those facilities to provide the health care. As you progress to level 4, social health insurance fund sets in. As you graduate into level 6, the critical health, the critical illnesses fund sets in, and that is fully capitated by government. So the confusion between SHA is the authority, and SHIF is the fund that is insurance based, contributory based. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ushers, please take your stand. There's someone I want to talk to, and because I've realized most of my speakers are not behaving on time, I'll stand here. This one is called Brian Higgins Mbugwa. He's our Deputy Executive Director. He was once young. I'm not saying you're old. So I'd love him just in 2 minutes to actually tell us the role of young people in politics. Just in 2 minutes. That's why I'll stand here.
Thank you very much. I'll stand here. Comrades, power. I'm not a politician, but I'll give you a few advice. Number one, for you to be in power, you need to organize. And during Gen Z protest, the young people are saying they were leaderless, formless, they were just amorphous. And as our constitution is structured, for example, there are special seats for young people, persons with disability, and the marginalized. And most of them are allocated to political parties, not independent candidates. So you can go by as independent, you capture seats, but it's only political parties that can nominate those special categories of individuals. So as young people, I advise you to join political parties and organize from within political parties. And one thing that I've heard from the panelists, and what we've been getting feedback from the various Comrades chapter that we've been into, is quite clear. For example, during our time, during SG's time, university placement was based on a bed capacity. So people had to wait for 1 year, 2 years before they join universities. So you people are privileged at this point. But then the current president, when he was the Minister for Higher Education, said, do we have to wait for bed capacity to increase, or do we admit more students? Then we have a better problem of solving the accommodation issue, rather than wasting an entire population for waiting for bed capacity to be up. So those are the questions that you should be asking some of the policies that are in place. Some of them might not be popular. For example, most people are telling me housing ni ya watu ya mjengo, which partly is true, majority ni watu ya mjengo, but the engineers, some of you are studying engineering, they are surveyors, kuna wale driver wa lori huko nje, cement factories iko na managers wenye nyinyi mtakuwa, wale watu ya mawe, kina Mulili wanakata mawe huko, all of them depend on that. And also, kwa hiyo site ya mjengo, kuna wale wa mama wanauza chakula hapo, and they feed their kids from that. So, if you look at the broad aspect of the housing, the ecosystem is so large that it's not just kwa watu wa mjengo. Hata nyinyi mkimaliza shule, wale structural engineers, surveyors, quantity surveyors, mtapata hiyo kazi. So, on the issue of e-employment, watu wanasema mnapeleka house girls huko nje ama nini. But let me challenge you. I saw the other day that the candidates sitting for KCSC are almost 1,900,000 and something 100,000. From statistics, it's between 20 to 25% who make it to the cutoff point of C+ and above. Another percentage goes to technical college and tertiary education. And then there's a large percentage that their qualifications end at high school level. So, if you ask clearly, those jobs that are out there, zenye mmesikia tu za house girl, maybe ni hizo kesi umesikia mtu amepigwa Saudi Arabia, but there are so many jobs out there. And when we were building this manifesto, we went round the country and we got feedback from most people. And the president realized one thing. There's the issue of diaspora. And most of the Kenyan diaspora were second, third generation. And you find your auntie went to the US 20, 30 years ago. When he was fresh in the US, he used to send money back to the country. But now, they got kids of their own in the US. So they stopped the remittances. But now these fresh people going out there, they still have ties locally, and they will be able to remit some remittances. So I was telling some young people, oh, you know, this government has brought the dollar down. Then they asked me, dollar inani affect aje mimi? Mimi natumia Kenya shilling. And I laughed. Maliba has told you, how many people have smartphones here? By show of hands. How many smartphones are manufactured in the country? Very few. So that's how dollar affects you. Ikienda juu, bei ya simu inaenda juu, bei ya mafuta inaenda juu. So stabilizing the shilling, it benefits you directly. So, as comrades, you need to challenge these people intellectually, going beyond the populist. Lastly, somebody posted the other day that Niko Town CBD, duka zimefungwa. So economy is doing bad. How many people here shop online? How many? Both for food, for items. So what will happen to the shops in the next 10, 20, 15 years? If they do not adapt, they'll become obsolete. So, if you see the shops closing, ask yourself, what about the online shops? What about those Uber Eats? I'm sure, SG, when was the last time you entered into a banking hall? Kitambo sana. Because access to finance has been digitized. So please tell people to digitize and to adapt, so that you don't post a photo of shop closing and say economy is bad. Tell them to adapt and go to where the people are. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Quite an easy way of wrapping it around. So questions. I'd love to remind you that we only give you an opportunity to ask one question. You are 500 of you. If you ask 10, others will not be able to talk. For a comment, I can give you an extra minute. I'd love ushers to actually, if you are ready to go, you're good to go. So your name, the institution, and your question or your comment. Please stand up. Okay. Since the microphone is problematic, allow me to use mine. Simama tu, tatumia yangu, mimi na hii tatumia tu.
Good afternoon. My name is Motolo from Kibwezi West constituency. The whole country right now knows Kibwezi West. Mine is a question about housing. There has not been sufficient information to do with housing, especially now that housing was meant to be for low and middle income earners. I think UDA as a party has numbers in the parliament, and you really saw what happened some weeks ago. you can use our numbers to come up with something like a Rent Relief Act, right? Where renters who who pay rent, especially the middle income earners, we come up with a legislation to help them, right? And then a comment. Just give me time, my friend. A comment. As young people, I want to pick from where Madam P.S. left. Madam P.S. was talking about mental health. As young people, we've been branded as a generation that believes it is either our way or no way, or the highway. It is the high time we change things. Many battles since independence, and even in developed democracies, many battles are won in boardrooms rather than in the front line. When you've been called by the president for a dialogue, just show up. Being in the front line does not get you a trophy, burning roads, destroying property. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone who remembers his name? What did you say your name is? How many of you remember his name? Ebu rudia jina.
I am Mutulu. M-U-T-U-L-U. Thank you.
Mutulu. Okay. Please, just come here. We have got one mic, so you'll understand. You'll be a little bit chap. I allowed Mutulu a little bit of time because he was the first one. Please, let's stick to the rules so that we get moving.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Achalo Mark Tyson. I come from Homa Bay, but I study in Kitui. I'm the student leader, the president of Southeastern Kenya University. If I check this list, where it is? First of all, it is a request. The second paragraph, the thesis statement. This initiative aims to create a platform where university and college students can engage directly with the ruling party, with the ruling political party, allowing them to share their concerns, ideas, and aspirations. So mine is just a request. Southeastern Kenya University has a vast land, and I think in Africa we are third largest, kwa ukubwa. And our students are facing a lot of problems in terms of housing. And God willing, we have the director for housing here. I think you will get to hear that. So please, when you are considering other universities for building the institution housing, consider Southeastern Kenya University located in Kitui. And then another thing, also a request. Currently, our students are facing a lot of problems in terms of help. Being in the second paragraph, you said you will help universities and colleges to meet them at the point of their need in terms of ideas and concerns. So please, plead with the help guys to release the funds to our comrades. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd love to go to the other side. In short, they are saying the ministry should transact. Let me pass, kindly.
Good afternoon.
Raise your voice, please.
Good afternoon. Okay, I'm Victoria Mweni. I'm the former academic secretary, Machakos University, and the graduate, nimegraduate juzi tu jana. So my question goes to the person who talked about the new funding model. I was doing Bachelor of Commerce and I was paying 14,000, and the second years and first year, the household, the 5% they are going to pay, the 5% is 21,000. Help me to understand how I'm going to talk to that student to understand the new funding model. It's fair enough for the student, because I was paying 14,000, she or he is paying 21,000. For me, a comment to the new funding model, what I can say is that you can increase the bands so that we can satisfy the needs of the student. The 5 bands are not enough for the student. So let us increase the bands to be able to accommodate all students according to how the parents are being paid. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody in the middle here? I think we've not. We were in the middle here. Let me go at the back. We'll be back. Okay, there's a working microphone here.
Right. I go by the name Miri Juma from Kitui, currently a student at Egerton University. And my question is, how does the party, when I'm talking of party, I'm referring to UDA, how does it ensure that the youth representation reflects advanced backgrounds and perspectives? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else in here? I'll be back. So that then we do not get incest in the same place. So many guys. Anybody in on this line here? There was somebody in front there. Please come.
Thank you. My name is Obadia Kiplagat, Mamangina University. To our SecGen UDA, I would like to our SecGen UDA, it's a request to the government, now that it is the ruling party headed by the president, that we are asking our peers and our leaders here about what is the ministry having for the youth, So we are requesting that we have youth in these positions so that they understand our problems directly. For example, the ministry headed by by our able minister, Murkomen, former senator. We should have given that position to somebody below 35. So it's my request. Number two is on grassroots elections. I've had a name and somebody in charge of grassroots elections update us on grassroots elections. Personally, I applied, I paid some money, and they have not had any updates so far. And lastly is the bursaries that are being given by government to the MPs and so forth and so on. If they were combined together, I think it will get to an amount to give free education, because they are a lot. So something should be done about the same. To touch on bursaries, these are ruling party. It should be having good transaction. We can also create a bursary portal and from UDA directly to the Comrades so that we apply and get something. Thank you.
Clap for him. So I'd love those questions to be responded to. Then we come for round 2. Before they respond to the questions, I wanted the ED to come, because there's a question that actually pertains to him directly. The question, I think, by the lady at the back was on how does the party ensure that nominations factor in, youth nominations actually factor in youth from diverse backgrounds. This one. So that you respond properly. Nominations actually factor in youth from diverse backgrounds. I know you are not necessarily old, but you are not also not very young. So you have got experience. You are in a better position.
Maliba, you know how to get the age of people. Good afternoon. Now, first of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity. You guys have been amazing. You are quiet and you are attentive, as Maliba said.